My cats. Mm. Hey guys, let me check if we're live on YouTube. Oh, we are. I have a notification. All right. Let's get this party started. Let's boogie. Good morning, you guys, and welcome back to the Tita Lavinia channel. As you know, I have a special guest today. I made an announcement yesterday of this super special guest of mine. Please say hello to Luis Portelles. Take it away, Luis.
Hello, everyone. Tita, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it's such an honor to be on your channel. You know how much I love you, how much I respect you, how much I look up to you. So being here is just like a dream come true.
For those of you who have no idea, we have been planning this as early as Miss Universe and then Binipini Pilipinas, and then we sort of had our own thing. So now we finally get to talk about pageantry. But before that, because the title of this show is Sipping and Spilling Tea, let me just fix my tea drink. And I want to show everyone what
Oh,
I have.
wow. Such a cute mug.
I have to thank my mother. Oh, you have tea as well. So I have fromage tea. So yeah,
I'm going with green tea today because I need
true.
energy.
Let me just fix this one up. All right. Wait a minute. All right. So here's how it's gonna go. We will be talking first, and then later we will have some questions come in from our viewers. We have a number of viewers already, so let's just say hi to them very quickly. I want to say hi to Lane Miranda. I want to say hi to It's Ching Salas. They are awake. I want to say hi to Alex de la Cruz. Also, Fidel Ramos. You know, Fidel Ramos is the name of our former president. So,
Oh.
hello. All right. So, yeah, everybody saying hello. Let me go ahead and check YouTube first.
I see a lot of my friends here in the chat. So Lane, Gian, my friends. How is
Oh, friends as well. All right. So, hola, Luis. There you go. So, guys, I'm so sorry. I won't be able to read a lot of your comments today, but later on, we will open up a segment to open things up for you. So, yeah, there you go. All right. So, I posted an announcement yesterday on this thing that we're going to do, and it was met by a lot of really excited fans. So, there were a number of commenters who mentioned, why are you having Luis over? What credentials does he have? Please, Luis, let us know.
Okay, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Luis Portelles, and I make videos on YouTube almost every single day. The type of videos that I do on my channel, it's pretty much reactions to a lot of things: music, celebrities. I talk about pageantry as well, and my content is mainly about the Philippines because most of my subscribers are Filipinos as well. So yeah, a lot of people look at me because I feel like at this point people know me mainly for pageant vlogs, but I don't consider myself to be like a pageant analyst or anything like that. If anything, I consider myself to be a pageant enthusiast. I'm a fan. I love it. I discovered it recently, and I've been having such a good time just getting to know the queens and all of the history behind it. It's such so much things to discover. So many things to discover.
All right. So let me also do my bit of explanation why I had you over. Because I think in the Philippines, pageant fans are like picky with their foreign bloggers. We've patronized and we've supported foreign bloggers in the past. But I guess because we're just so into YouTube, we're so into social media. Sometimes that Filipino thing gets abused. I'm sure you know this. I want to know, because your audience is mainly Filipino, and I think our audience here at the Tita sa Pageantry channel would also like to know, how do you balance your content so that you're not just banking on the Filipinos, so that you get to really stay away or like be more careful on this idea called Pinoy baiting?
Yes, that's a very good question, actually. And I feel like in order to answer that question, I have to go back a little bit to the beginning of my channel and how it all started for me. So I started my channel during the pandemic out of the desire to connect with more people because I had recently moved out of my parents. I was living by myself and I was completely isolated from the world because, I mean, the pandemic here was pretty intense at that point and we did not have the right to go out or anything. So I decided to start a YouTube channel, which I had done in the past. This was not my first channel, um, and I just went for music, for stuff that I loved and I enjoyed. And I was doing mainly like Madonna reactions because I'm a big Madonna
What's your favorite album?
fan. I mean, it has to be Confessions. It's like the classic.
I'm like more old school.
Really fun.
What was that like a prayer? Because I remember the cover. It had lots of sparkly things. It had lots of gemstones and things like that. So I remember it.
I like them all, to be honest.
Madonna. Okay, sige, push.
So I remember, I was just doing my Madonna videos, pop music in general. Like I would cover different artists. And eventually, I remember there was someone in my comments. It was this girl who used to, I mean, who lives in the U.S. but she's Filipina. She would always ask me, "Can you react to Morissette or can you react to Sarah G and can you react to Regine?" And these singers, to be honest, I was not even aware of who they were, because Filipino culture is not very accessible here in America. We don't have much access to it. Like it's not something that you hear on the radio or see on TV.
Right.
So, but because my fan base at that point, my subscribers count was so small. I had like approximately 300 subscribers, and I was pretty close with everyone. To be honest, I've always precisely the purpose of the channel was to connect with people. So I was always replying. I would add them on Facebook and all. And I told myself I might make this video that she's asking me for, and like it's gonna go nowhere. Like it doesn't get noticed. It might get 2 views, but it is what it is. At least one of my subscribers will be happy, and so I did it. And that opened the door for a brand new, let's say, like audience that started discovering my channel. I did a Morissette reaction, and that video got a lot of traction for my standards. Right? Keep in mind that I had like 300 subscribers, so for me, like 100 views was like whoa. And then I have this video that in a week had like, I don't know, let's say like 2,000 views. Um, with this came a lot of people who were requesting, other things. Can you check this out? Can you go and check this other singer or this other song? And so I did. I was going with the flow and just in my head I was just giving what the audience wanted. Um, until I feel like my channel started growing to a point where it wasn't only love anymore, and I was starting to notice like certain comments and people saying like, "Why are you abusing? Why are you doing this and doing that?" And that's when I started to ask myself the question, "What's going on?" Like I was noticing this term in the comments, like Pinoy baiting, and I was like, "What is this?" And I remember, I kid you not, the first time that I find out what this was, I was crying because I, once again, going to the very beginning, I started my channel out of desire, the need, the wanting to connect with people. And I had made friends from my channel. I have like a group chat, a conversation. I'm very close with my subscribers, with as many as I possibly can, of course. Um, and the fact that people thought that I was like trying to use them or benefit from them, it was something that really hurt me. So the very first video that I started this year in 2021, was actually, it was just me sitting in front of the camera, and I was actually talking about my plan for the year, what I wanted to accomplish, and talking about Pinoy baiting, and that it's important that because I have this audience of people watching me, that I wanted to be more transparent and not necessarily, um, let's say, do things because it's a trend or do things because I want to gain followers or likes or comments. It's all about the audience and connecting with them and creating a relationship. So I really go with what my audience asks. And I feel like that's why most of my videos are about the Philippines, because precisely most of my subscribers are from the Philippines. If I show you my analytics from YouTube, I would say a strong 90% of my subscribers are based in the Philippines. And like some other percentage are pretty much overseas Filipino workers who watch me from from other sides of the world as well. So it's, sometimes you have to find a balance and also ask yourself, why are you doing this, and what is the intention behind it, right? So I don't know if you have, if you want to plug other questions, because I feel like I've been talking for some.
No, no, we want to hear because I remember when I posted that announcement, there were like an exchange of like 12 comments between two or three people who was just arguing, why are you having Luis Portelles over? Like, what credentials does he have? So I guess now is my cue to let them know why I endorsed you in the first place. Now, in the Philippines, I'm not so sure because I started pageant blogging as early as 2018. I cannot confirm if I'm the first one in this genre or in this platform who actually crossed over from Instagram to YouTube. I do know that there are a number of bloggers analyzing, they're like an identity analyzing. So please correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, if I'm the first one who did that from our side, from our end of pageantry. Because yeah, before there were content creators who would just normally do like a collage of videos and then compile it for us, like a performance, full performance like this. And one of the things that I actually get into, especially when I'm trying to get to like sleep, is sometimes I go into the rabbit hole of watching reaction videos because I'm Filipino. I understand the Pinoy baiting thing because I'm the target market. I mean, I actually, it's not validation, but I do find joy in watching foreigners get a kick out of something that they haven't seen before, like they haven't encountered before. So one of the first things that I saw from you, thank you, YouTube. What's that? What's that term? That algorithm thing, because I was into the rabbit hole of like every once in a while I would look into Catriona videos, even if a considerable time has passed, and then I'll try and go and check like who are reacting to these beauty queens from the Philippines. And somehow your video popped along. And then I followed the trail. You stopped a little bit, and then you had a little bit of a heart evangelista content in between. And I was like, this one doesn't really go into beauty pageantry. But when I heard your analysis, and you're not from pageantry, I felt that this one makes sense because for me, I was looking for someone who can talk the talk without really being exposed in pageantry. So I tried to listen more. I tried to check more of your stuff before I actually messaged you. And what I liked about the time when I messaged you was that you were proactive in learning more about pageantry. I mean, I felt that it clicked with you because I remember when you were doing your Miss Universe analysis, unlike the other bloggers, you actually went to the Miss Universe website and you actually tried to check what they were looking for, like the characteristics that they were looking for. So I said, you know what, I'm going to try and take my chance because at around the time that you were emerging, one of the pageant bloggers, one of the foreign pageant bloggers, I'm not going to even name her, but because you guys know her, conducted a social experiment just to see like how worked out Filipino fans could get. And I got a little pissed off about it because Filipinos are income generating audiences, so it's a little fresh to make an experiment out of like the Filipinos need to watch something, need to have something visual. So I said, I'm gonna try and look for someone, pick someone that has sense. And yeah, I stumbled upon you, and I'm really glad that you're continuing this, and I'm really glad that because you have no affiliations here in the Philippines, camp affiliations are really big. Sometimes you get into trouble even if you're not even fighting with the individuals from the other camps or the other groups, but at least you're free of that. You're fresh. But I want to know, are you feeling the heat now that you have interviewed quite a number of girls and you're now privy to what's happening to maybe some camp wars or some fan wars here in the Philippines, because it's a little more intense here?
It's a little more intense, indeed. I really like what you mentioned because I always tell everyone when they ask me, how did you get into pageantry? And I always tell them that Tita is my fairy godmother. in a certain way. And this wasn't, I'm sure that this wasn't on purpose or anything, but when you messaged me, that meant a lot to me because, once again, something that you mentioned is that when you were watching my reactions, that I talk, and I comment and that's something that I feel that even within the reactors, like music reactors, it was something that set me apart a little bit because, in my opinion, um, the main thing when you talk about like Pinoy baiting and all of these things is that um, there's no added value to the content, right? So they're just there to repost whatever video is already available online without adding anything, just getting the views, the comments, and potentially monetizing. Which I'm gonna tell you honestly, that even the reactors that are doing this for music and music videos, and even sometimes for pageants, a lot of the content is not monetized because of copyright
Right.
within music. So they might be gaining subscribers, they might be gaining views and whatever, but a lot of them are not actually making much out of it. And I remember that with Catriona it was the same. I remember a lot of people suggesting around that time, you should check out Catriona Gray. I was like, who is that? Because I come from Cuba. Cuba participates in like pageants, I think, and like we don't hear about it in the country. I live in Canada now, and Canada is super like we have a pageant system here, but people like everyday people don't follow it, and they have a very superficial vision of what pageantry is. So I remember just sitting in front of the camera and talking about the Catriona Gray, video, and then just giving my 2 cents without knowing what I was actually saying, and I just enjoyed it. I posted it. Uh, the video did well, so people kept on asking, "Now check on Pia. I want to see a reaction to Pia." And then
So there's like a direction you can follow. It's pretty natural.
exactly. And I believe that the first time that I actually did a pageant video, like commenting on a pageant, not just a reaction, was with when Samantha Bernardo was in Miss Grand International. That was my
That
very
was
first
fun.
like
That was super fun. I mean, I would remember that time as one of the, because we cover, like now you're covering like us, but we cover like these major pageants, right? So even if the pageant is like in Europe, especially if they come from the nationals that we love so much here in the Philippines, we really support our girls. And I remember that time, Sam Bernardo's time was super fun. How was your exposure to MGI? Because MGI, I think we have to start with that. It's a pageant that doesn't really gain a lot of respect here in the Philippines, but it's super fun. The production is just, I don't know, it's like half Miss Universe, half Eurovision. It's like fun. How
yes.
do you feel about covering Miss or how did you feel about covering Miss Grand?
Okay, so Miss Grant last year, because once again at that point I didn't consider myself to even be in like the pageant niche. I was just like, I told myself I enjoy doing the Catriona video, I enjoy doing the Pia video, and now there's this situation going on, so let me check it out. And so I went for it, but I didn't follow like the entire pageant at that point. I just reacted to like the finale, and then I made like a separate video where I was just mostly commenting on my opinions. Um, but I mean, from the outside, I feel like this year I'm gonna try my best to cover it because December is gonna be like all of the pageants are gonna be happening in
I
December.
know.
But
Goodbye to that clear skin.
oh,
Everybody's commenting about your clear skin. We'll talk about that later
oh my
on.
God, it's the ring light, everyone. It's a catfish. But I'm gonna try to cover it entirely this year, especially because I'm very, very, very excited about Samantha Penilio in Miss Grand International. And but yeah, based on what I saw, it seems like it's super fun. The production value is impressive. And although it might not be as big as other, international pageants, I feel like it's really on the rise, and it's something that we're going to hear a lot more in the upcoming years. So we'll see.
All
But
right.
but to answer your question, because I mean, I talk too much, Tita.
It's
You have
okay.
to edit me. You have
We're
to
here to listen to you.
to answer your question. Yes, now that I'm doing interviews, that I'm actually meeting with some of the candidates and doing pageant videos a lot more regularly as well, I do feel the pressure sometimes, and I'm aware of the fact, before when I was just making videos, I was aware that some subscribers liked me and some didn't. Now I'm aware
You're
of that
more
dynamic. I'm aware of that dynamic as well, but I also realize that now some people in the industry like me and some don't. Uh,
Oh, tea! Tea spilled! Tea! People in the industry. Very interesting. Expound more on
so I feel, I mean, I don't have like necessarily like a name that comes to mind or anything like that, but I do have to admit that sometimes I have felt a little bit of a cold shoulder when it comes to um, certain, I would say, individuals when I try to reach for interviews or whenever whenever I comment sometimes as well. Um, so I'm aware, I start to realize how complex this industry is.
yes, exactly. That's right. I was waiting for that because, like some people think that it's just talk, talk, talk. I mean, I get a lot of comments saying, Tita, why are you even talking about beauty? You're not even beautiful. And I was like, the analogy is like for politicians, even, someone who played in sports can go into politics nowadays. I'm just thinking, do you really have to look the part to be in that field or to excel in that field? I mean, of course, I do a little bit of effort. You do a bit of effort yourself. So, yeah, I like the acknowledgement that this is actually quite complex. I mean, it may seem shallow. It does. Beauty pageantry is seen as shallow, but yeah,
Yeah.
the relationships here are more complex. The affiliations here, it's like walking on eggshells. How are you able to manage?
I mean, to be honest, this all started for me. The interview started back with Bini Bini Pilipinas, and it was something that I decided, like, honestly, super last minute. I was just so into the pageant. Like at that point, we had like the national costumes, photos that came out. We had like some activities already, and I told myself, you know what, it will be fun if I talk to some of them, some of the candidates. So I messaged a few, and two of them said yes right away. Then I did the first interview and I realized that what am I gonna do with this? Like, I'm not like an interviewer, I'm not like a talk show host, whatever. So I told myself maybe I should like launch like a talk show, like a podcast type of thing. And just, if I get like 3 episodes, I'll be lucky. Um,
Mhm.
and so I did. And if you look at my very first episode, I don't even introduce it as being whatever, like a podcast or anything, because I had no idea at that point. Um, so that series with Binibining Pilipinas went really, really well. Then I got a little bit into Miss Philippines Earth. I interviewed some of the candidates as well. I was actually working on a series for Magandang Pilipinas as well, which honestly, well,
We know what happened to that.
well, that never came out, but that's fine.
Welcome to the Philippines. Isn't it fun? I mean, you're new and then you got to experience that whole hoopla.
Yes, exactly. And then I got into Miss Universe. Obviously, I feel like with Miss Universe is when I really felt the pressure of the industry because a lot of the candidates, if I think back to Binibining Filipinas, only one candidate um, was kind of like, yes, but no, yes, we'll see. And then eventually never happened. Um, but now with Miss Universe, right from the beginning, a lot of the girls were just telling me, like, I have to ask for permission and I don't have to wait and see. And a lot of them came back to me and said yes or sorry by scheduling reasons. And something that I want to put out there is like, no candidate was ever disrespectful to me. Nothing happened along those lines. Everyone was lovely. And I know that they tried to the best of their abilities. But there were situations where I felt like, okay, clearly someone doesn't want me to talk to certain people. So yeah, I mean, I what I've realized is that it's a complex dynamic, and that sometimes there's a conflict of interest, and I feel like there might be a lot more alliances, down the road that maybe we're not aware of, and yeah, it's not an easy.
We're aware.
Well, I was not aware, but now I am. And if you notice, even my content, I used to post like almost every single day. And my close group of people, from the channel, they know this, is that it really took a toll on me because I put a lot of effort and time into my interviews. I do a lot of research. I write the questions. Now I have someone who helps me with the questions as well and the research because it was just way too much. But it got to the point that my content, like my videos, were suffering because the interviews were taking too long. And
What did I tell you? I told you something
you
when you
told,
were, yeah, I told you something. What
yeah,
did I tell you?
wait for top 30.
Wait for top 30. Now, a lot of these folks are waiting for our analysis on the top 30. But there is one question that keeps on popping up. This is coming from Fidel Ramos. I'm going to make an exception this time because, yeah,
Come
he
on,
did
Phil.
really well in making us notice his question. He says, "Hi, Tita, Lavinia, and Luis. I just want to get your opinion as to what makes the Philippines a powerhouse in the pageant industry." Now, this is a question I want to ask you because on my end, I feel like Philippine pageantry is declining. Maybe it's a little different in your perspective. What makes Philippine pageantry or what makes the Philippines a pageant house now that you've covered us?
Yes. Obviously, from what I've been able to learn through the past few months, there is a rich history of pageantry in the Philippines. This is the main thing. So, um, from the perspective, for example, I see where you're coming from when you say that it might be declining. However, from the perspective of someone like me who is just new to this entire atmosphere and this entire environment, there's just so much content and so many like iconic beauty queens and like so many pageants and so much information out there that honestly is just exciting. um and I feel like I was telling you earlier, some of the big countries like, I don't know, Canada, even the United States, like they have a pageantry culture as well, but I feel like people don't get as excited as in the Philippines. So this is why maybe in the Philippines they're considered to be a powerhouse, because not only it's a huge industry with a lot of influence, but also because people care and people still follow the patterns and people still uplift the queens and they try their best to, you know, let's say, they take pride and honor in whatever the beauty queens represent. And I feel like that's unique. Here in Canada, that doesn't happen at all. Cuba, we don't even talk about it.
We've actually been waiting for Cuba. Cuba hasn't participated in Miss Universe in decades. I know there's a story behind it. It's just that, yeah, I think it had something to do with hurt feelings. But yeah, we would have really wanted to have Cuba at Miss Universe too. So, my next question for you, transitioning into top 30, because a lot of people want to hear our thoughts about top 30. Um, Now that you've covered Binibining Pilipinas, you are still in the middle of covering Miss Universe Philippines. Right off the bat, what's the most distinct difference between covering or between the two national pageants?
Mm, I would say Binibining Pilipinas at first, it was, well, I started watching and following it right after um, they announced like the final date, because they had like several pushbacks, right? So right after they announced the final date, I started following it, and I had this impression that it was just like a group of girls like were very concise, and we kind of knew what to expect at that point. Um, right from the beginning, I had an idea of like the ones that I really liked at that point and that I was rooting for, and the ones that I wanted to meet and interview. But I got the impression that I knew where I was going with this pageant. Like it was clear the dates, the activities, all of that. Now with Miss Universe Philippines, the impression that I've got so far is that it's a lot more unexpected, because there's a lot of challenges. This whole new format of 100 candidates. I should have listened to your advice in the beginning, because my goal was to interview like the 100 candidates.
It's gonna take a toll on your editing, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And honestly, up to this day, I'm sitting on interviews that are already recorded and are not out yet because of the editing. And I'm trying my best to put them out, because I cannot put interviews every single day. So I try to maybe have one every 2 days or every 3 days. So we'll see. But yeah.
you'll
But I
get the
feel like Miss Universe Philippines has this element of surprise, this element of, I don't want to say a reality show because that's not the right term, but it feels more like it's a game, you know?
Mhm. I
Yeah.
think they're going into that direction. I mean, whatever it is that they're planning now, and considering what they did the last edition, I think it's pretty safe to say they're moving in that direction. Because even the other countries, like Thailand, has already announced that they will be doing a reality show type of thing. Malaysia, back in the day, had the same arrangement as well. So I really wouldn't be surprised if it goes into this direction.
Yeah.
Learning about how old school Binibining Pilipinas was, or learning how Binibining Pilipinas is just highly regarded. I'm sure you've seen in the comment section words such as classy, old school. It's always attached to Binibining Pilipinas.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the competition at Miss Universe Philippines going into a direction that's more contest driven,
Yeah.
popularity driven, maybe vote driven as well?
Well, I really had mixed feelings in the beginning about the fan voting, um, because I thought that, you bring like this entire group of girls, like 100 candidates who have a lot of potential, beautiful girls, lots of substance, and strong advocacies as well. But um, because of the fan voting system, it's always the same ones who end up on top of the topics and whatever, system that they have for voting. So I felt like maybe the less known candidates or the new ones were being penalized until the Q&A segment. This is when I kind of realized that yes, maybe like the first few challenges were to kind of played in the advantage of the most popular candidates, but right after the Q&A segment, I feel like I think you have a video titled "The Game Changer" or something like that. And I saw that and I told myself, this is it. This is the term to describe it, because it's no longer just about the fan voting, but it's also, what they can deliver. Because that's something that we were missing at first with only votes and, just based on that. A lot of girls had like beautiful photo shoots and they did beautiful videos. And I'm sure they invested a lot of money on that. But because of the votes and they didn't have as much support as other candidates, they didn't make it. So, yeah. But now with a mix of voting and judging, I feel like it's a lot more stable.
Well, one of the things that Miss Universe Philippines did was that they went away with the height requirement, allowing ladies as well as celebrities who have. I'm so sorry, my cat is just investigating everything. So
We love it.
it's part of the show. No, yeah. I just wanted to ask you, like, so they went away with the height requirement. Now, in the Philippines, we've struggled with height because Filipinos are not naturally the tallest people on earth. So whenever we have like someone who reaches maybe 5'7", 5'8", and above, we give like premium to them. That's why we're more confident in sending our taller girls in competitions because that was the norm before. Now they're opening things up. Now it's a little difficult from the seasoned pageant fans to accept these changes. How do you feel that we now have more petite girls in the competition? I know this is something that the whole world is adapting, the inclusivity factor, but what's your take on having shorter girls with the possibility of fighting against the glamazons, the Amazonians from South America or even Europe?
I honestly feel like this is a step in the right direction. It's a step to being a little bit more inclusive and recognizing that beauty doesn't always just come in one single, size or one single shape as well. Um, I think, for example, of this year's edition of Miss Universe, actually with Maria Tatil, she was actually one of my favorites in that competition, and just because of her size, you couldn't take away the fact that she was stunning, and she had like communication skills that girl could speak for hours, and I will just sit there and listen. And I feel that's definitely something that we need to take into consideration. Um, Something that I think of is that, for example, a lot of these challenges that we have in Miss Universe, for example, like the swimsuit and some of these challenges that are a little more based on the physique. Once they win the title, you rarely see a Miss Universe like in a swimsuit afterwards, unless she's doing like a campaign or an ad. Or so to what extent is it really like mandatory or necessary that she is, a certain that she's this high, or I don't know, like this tall, um, is not a requirement in my opinion. And I know that there's a lot of buzz about this because Miss Universe Philippines decided to change the rules, and now we have a candidate with Ayin as well, who is in the competition. And people have mixed feelings about Ayin, but the reality is that Ayin has very good communication skills. She's a beautiful girl, and she has a lot of potential as well. Whether you like it or not, I mean, as a fan, you're still entitled to your opinion, and you're still entitled to vote for someone else, or to root for someone else. But it doesn't take the fact that this girl has a lot to offer, and that she shouldn't be denied a position just based on how tall she is. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Um, I'm not well because I'm more old school, right?
Yeah.
I come from that generation that really watched beauty pageants at its height.
Mhm.
These ladies were unattainable. These are the real life Barbies. Like if you grew up playing with Barbie dolls and then seeing these girls in the flesh, they're just so unreal. So on my end, I don't want to take that like fantasy away,
Yeah.
but because I am here on social media, I understand that change is inevitable. It's a little difficult to swallow, but like what I keep on telling a lot of these people, the likes of Kisses, the likes of Ayin Bernos, I would be really upset if they were carried by their fans and they're not putting in the work. And
Yes.
I'll talk a little bit about this later on because there was just a little bit of a discussion on social media. Maybe I'll put it out there. So, yesterday, Miss Universe Philippines named the top 30 ladies who got in. So, I'm gonna give give you a list of the ladies who got in. How many did you interview? How
So
many?
far, it's a good
You know,
question. Out of the girls who made the top 30,
uh, well, so you interviewed some girls who didn't make it to top 30?
um, I met a few of them on live stream, on an Instagram live, because especially when we had like 100 candidates, I couldn't do like one-on-one with everyone. So I was doing Instagram lives, and eventually, as they were getting the chop, like getting like top 75, 50, I was doing more like interviews one-on-one. But yeah, some of the girls that I met, um, let's say like on Instagram, didn't make the cut. But so far, for the ones that I did an episode of my podcast, they're all in the top 30.
Okay. So very quickly, I'll give the audiences here a rundown of who made it to top 30 and then those that, stick out like a sore thumb. Let's talk about them a little bit more.
Yeah,
The ones who made it are Negros Oriental, Grace Pendiola. I remember her. She was the one with, she's always a little bit too made up for me, even with her hair and makeup. So maybe she can tone it down a little bit and, get to see her natural beauty. Do you remember her?
of course, yes. I did meet Grace briefly, and we have DM like back and forth a little bit, and I think she's beautiful. I definitely see what you mean about the styling, uh, but I feel like she has that a little bit more of a old school type of style, in the sense that she's gonna be a little more dolled up. When
Like
sometimes some of the girls nowadays.
yeah, like more fixed up, more presentable. But yeah, maybe just a bit of a change because nowadays I notice pageant fans right now they're veering more towards a more natural look.
Yes,
They're reserving more of the fiercer look for like maybe editorials or maybe photo shoots. But for like every day, I think we're moving into a direction of like having someone just naturally pretty and made up.
yeah.
So yeah, Grace, if you're watching, all right, we also have Cagayan de Oro, Vinci Pacalares. I don't know if you remember her, but she competed last edition. Unfortunately, she didn't make it last edition because, if I'm not mistaken, she tested positive for COVID. So she's fighting again now. So yeah, good for her. We have Noelyn Campos of Antique. If I'm not mistaken, she's the tallest at 5'11".
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that about her.
Okay, so one of your girls made it. Of course, Rusain Marie Bernos of San Juan. I had no doubt she was going to make it
Yeah.
because
Same.
the buzz alone is just enough to create interest.
Yeah.
And I think the interest goes both ways. Either you want to like see her fall flat on her face or like see her succeed. So it's very interesting what Ayin could bring to the table beyond the com skills. Because I know the com skills is something that
Hmm.
um, is served for
Yeah.
everyone.
One thing
All
about
right.
Ayu, is something that I actually asked her during my interview with her. Whoa, my light just went away. Okay. Something that I asked her was, after you make it to the top 30, there's no more fun voting at that point. So you actually have to compete with the candidates and deliver. It's not just your audience making you move on to the next step. And she's aware of this. She knows that, this is a reality. And I believe that she's preparing to the best of her ability. So I'm not worried about her in the sense that it's not like she's in a bubble and she imagines that her subscribers will just like let her win. She has to compete, but I'm glad to see like the representation part of it. And now we'll see what she can deliver on stage. Oh, I think we lost Tita. Hi, everyone. I think Tita got disconnected. Oh, no. So I'm going to take over the channel now. Well, I'm going to take a moment to read some of the comments in the meantime while she gets back to us. How is it going, everyone? Are you enjoying the interview so far? I mean, it's not an interview, it's just like a chit chat.
OMG! I removed myself from my own stream. I've been trying to highlight some of the questions, and then yeah, this is the tita in me pressing things that aren't supposed to be pressed.
Account
Okay.
takeover.
All right. One of my favorites in the competition, Mandaluyong. She is Maria Corazon Abalos. Not a lot of people know like her inner workings. Of course, we know of her political family. Her mother is the current mayor of the city. How do we feel about her, and how do we feel about her political background?
To be quite honest, I'm not that familiar with the political background, but
Which
I
is
mainly focused, yes, I mainly focused on the pageant and what she's been delivering so far. And I feel like she's very consistent. She might be one of the girls who might not be getting as much attention from the fans. However, the skills are there. So I believe that she might surprise us now that the pageant is officially starting. What about you? How do you feel about her?
I love the class that she brings to the table. She's not one of the tallest at 5'5",
Yeah.
but I think that's fine because her proportions are long. Because this is my thing. Whenever we have like the more petite girls, I'm warming up to the idea. I just want them to have like the proportions that are somehow at par with those really tall ones. But
Yeah.
looking at her, she's more on the reserved and quiet side when it comes to campaigning for herself. But I really like the class factor that she brings in.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
exactly. I agree
I
with
want to learn more. I felt that her introduction video when she introduced herself as like a teacher in Spain. I felt like I wanted to learn more about it. In the Philippines we call it bitin, like clip.
you. Yeah.
So I wanted, yeah, what were you doing in Spain really? I mean, why teach kids there? You could teach kids here. So maybe this is something that just continues to make her more intriguing and mysterious for me.
Yeah.
My cat, OMG, what is happening? I'm struggling.
Oh,
All right. Let's move on to another pageant girl. Albay made it, Janella Joy Cuaton. Yes, do you have any thoughts about Janella?
I love Janella. She is very consistent so far during the competition, and I was really, really impressed. She was one of the standouts for me during the runway challenge. I believe that her video was just so well done. Um, Her photos are beautiful, and I'm excited to see um, how she's going to do in the competition now that she is officially within the top 30. I actually have an interview with Janella, which is not out yet, but will be coming out soon. She's very soft spoken, very down to earth, very nice. So, yeah, she's a nice girl.
All right. So, well, now may be my only chance to really talk about Janella, because yeah, we will be focusing on a number of girls within the next few weeks. But just to give you like a little bit of a background on Janella, Janella is a pageant girl. Her last stint was at Miss World Philippines back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure that came up in your interview. So um, Janella for me is more in control. She is more confident because I remember during her Miss World Philippines stint, she was one of the heavy favorites as well. But somehow during the finals, I think it kind of messed with her. I think she had a number of choices in terms of like gowns and wardrobe that she sort of felt overwhelmed that the final look wasn't the look that we all expected from her.
Mhm.
So hopefully this time around, she'd have like a more concrete like grip on what she wants to look like and how she wants to present herself. So
Yes,
yeah, go and push
yes.
for it, Janella.
So
Um,
what we discussed was a little
okay.
bit of her history in pageantry, and she something that she really made sure that she made me understand was that she has learned from her previous experiences. So I hope that she's applying that. So
I hope so. Well, because of course maturity follows. It's been a few years anyway, so now she understands. You know what? This cat was like sick for 3 days, like really, really sick, like dying sick. I don't know what's happening. He is up and about, and please give me a minute. What is wrong with you, Nikki? Honestly, I posted it on my page. I thought he was really gonna die, so
oh,
obviously he's not. But that's fine. All
however,
right, moving on. We have someone really very interesting. Rabia's successor from Iloilo, Kesha Ramachandran. How do we feel about her?
I like her. She's very smart and has like very good communication skills. I feel like something that a lot of people have brought up about Kesha is the fact that there's something with the styling. There's something going on. Some photo shoots I really like and I'm crazy about them. Some others I'm not able to connect as much.
Mhm.
So I believe that there's still like room for improvement right there. But the girl herself is beautiful, and I'm sure that if she works on those little details and the little things, she can really deliver a lot. So let's
I'm
not sleep
with
on
you.
her.
I'm with you with the styling. You know, this girl is tall. She's really striking. For me, she does have to really work on personality because I think this isn't something that's natural to her. I mean, whenever I would see her do these videos, I always get the impression of saying, come on, let's get this done and over with. So I wish she would develop more on that. I'm with you with the styling. I feel like she has amazing bone structure. I'm not so sold with her hair. I feel like they put on so many products on her. So maybe this time try to strip it off and just, go with the pretty.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's see. And that hair that has to go. I'm so sorry, you guys. Team Iloilo, please do not be offended. All right, moving on. One of the ladies who made a really good impression when it came to comm skills and interview, we have Paranaque's Maria Ingrid Santa Maria. Did you get the chance to talk with Sam?
Yes, I met Sam and I interviewed her. And I'm gonna tell you, I connected with Sam on a personal level, not just like during the interview, but she's honestly like such a sweet girl, like genuinely speaking, such a nice person. And I'm glad with everything that she's done so far in the competition. And lately she had a lot of success with the Q&A, with the interview challenge. Um I know that she is really going out of her comfort zone with this pageant because this is her first pageant ever. She doesn't come from a pageantry background. It's not like she was preparing for years to do this. So everything that she has delivered for a brand new, like candidate, fresh face, I feel like she's doing well. What about you?
I really like her. It's just that I remember she got caught in the middle of like a controversy because the makeup artist and the hair person that she was affiliated with got caught into like a word war with the likes of me over a candidate over like something political. And I thought it was really petty. I felt really bad for Sam for being in the middle of all of that. But unfortunately, this is where discipline has to come in, especially when you're hair and makeup people. You are not supposed to be as vocal. I know it's not about clipping your freedom. It's just that you also have to think of the people that you're affiliated with, the candidates that you're affiliated with. So, yeah, I feel a little bad for Sam because even if she's trying to turn things around right now, I feel like um, some factor of that controversy made by the people that she was working with just kind of
Yeah,
trickled down to her. So I hope that she can like get past that. So
I remember this. Do you know that after this controversy, turned out that she and Steffi are cousins, right?
right, right, that one too. And this one comes from an illustrious family actually. Her grandma is a famous pianist who is in the running for the National Artist Award or recognition. So she does come from a long line of like models and athletes. So we're dealing with someone whose eyes are open. So I feel like she just needs to connect with the masses because
Yeah.
she does have a certain market and maybe it's not crossing over, right? I don't know. I don't know how to articulate this the best way I can, but she does have to learn how to cross over.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, she's definitely being consistent, but she also has to connect with the audience and not just look pretty for the audience and show them that she can talk, but people need to be able to relate to her. Um, yeah, my light is about to turn off. My God, again. Okay, there we go.
It's fine because you're bright and shiny anyway.
Sana all.
Mamaya, pag-usapan natin yan. All right. We also have Manila. I'm happy about her. Isabella Jasmine Umali. I'm happy about her. Yeah. What about your thoughts?
I like her. Umali is an artist at heart. She's another
Oh,
one
right,
use that is
right,
coming out. She is very, when you meet her, when you talk to her, she's very poetic. She's very down to earth. She's very generous with the way that she presents herself. And when you look at her pictures, you get this image of like a very model like someone who you might not relate to as much, but she is very likable. And in my opinion, she has one of the most beautiful photo shoots so far. When it comes to her photos, are very artistic, are very well thought out. And something that I learned from her talking to her is that most of, I mean, her photos are not edited, so
okay.
what you see is what you get. So I like her. Yes.
But I also feel like she's part of like the second tier favorites. Why do you feel like she isn't crossing over to like a fan base that would really like die for her? What's missing? What's lacking?
To be quite honest, and this is just like a very personal opinion. She well, first of all, she has to build a little bit her fan base, but also she is with a camp that has like very popular girls. So I feel like, I don't know if maybe she's like has fallen back in the priority list when it comes to promotion or when it comes to certain things. But Umali is very consistent, and I know that if she is given the chance, if she nails, like the challenges are coming up, and she is given the chance to speak during the coronation night. Uh, you might be surprised. Yes.
Okay. Now, we have three recipients of the fan votes who made it. There's actually no surprise. The first one is Maureen Robovitz of Pangasinan. There was no doubt for me whether she makes it into the fan vote or with her own merits. She's a shoe-in for top 30 anyway. Any thoughts?
Maureen, yes, this is no surprise for anyone, I feel like, because she has been consistently up there in the top, because of her huge fan base, of course. But to give her some credit, I feel like Maureen, she comes from a background of being a model. And in the beginning, this is something that I actually mentioned during one of my videos. Being a model and like being in pageants is not the same, the way that you present yourself, that you handle yourself, that you speak, that you move. And I feel like so far Maureen has been able to cross over pretty well. I remember her pasarela video was nice. I enjoyed like the way that she moves and like the way that she adapted, changed it, the previous ways to kind of present herself under a different light. And yes, it's a little divisive because the girl is consistent. She has good communication skills. She's smart, but she has also like a big following, which sometimes I don't know if it might be hurting her because a lot of people discredit her based on the following that she has. When in reality, she's being consistent. I mean,
The face value, Luis. The face value. All
yeah, she
right, moving on. So I'm gonna speed this up a little bit for us. Princess Krista Singh of Pasig, I like her as well. I will note though that she's also always so made up. So maybe let's tone down a lot of that blonde thing going on. Do you feel that way? Because I feel that.
definitely feel that way as well. I
All
like
right.
her. She's pretty, but yes, maybe.
Yeah, because I feel like that's too made up. I don't know. I think this is a little bit of a secret. When it comes to our pageant girls here in the Philippines, we're fine with them playing dress up, but at the end of the day, we want them back to their brown eyes. We want them back to their brown or black hair. So yeah, ladies, if you're gonna get creative, just make sure it's for yeah, just the photo shoots. I'm really happy about this one only because this person just really brings me so much happiness whenever I watch her. I'm talking about Davao del Sur's Jedaida Corinihona. Do you feel her effervescence? I hope a lot of people get to pick up on it.
Jadida is a light. She was one of the girls that I did an Instagram live with earlier on, and I remember how effortless it was. My interviews are all pre-recorded because I'm a control freak. I'm a Virgo. I don't like mistakes, missteps, whatever. And that Instagram live, it was just so smooth because the girl is just like she listens and then she replies with like a lot of value, and she's beautiful. And talking about representation and diversity, I feel like she embodies all of those things. Yeah.
My cat is just so in love with me. What is wrong with you?
Ah. Mahal kita, tita. Your cat, your
Oh,
cat loves you so
people
much.
will know. We have an image, Nikki. All right. And then we have Reina Mercedes Jean Luis Abejero. I want to get to know more about her. Right now, she's not registering to me. I'm so sorry. One of the early favorites, well, not the early favorites, but we have a segment on Titas of Pageant for you wherein we look into the provincial girls and then we see who could be groomed into the nationals. We call that Wish Miss.
Ah, okay.
So this one definitely crossed over from provincial. She is Nicole Mignano from Romblon. She has that doll-like face. Actually, her pasarela was really good. I just feel like maybe now is not her time yet. Maybe she is still a little too baguettes or too young. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember her. Do you remember her?
Tell me the name once again.
Her name is Jane Nicole Mignano from Romblon.
Yes, I did. I think I met her. The girl has been consistent, and of course, I feel like there's room for improvement as well. Like there's a few things here and there, but overall, a lot of potential. And this is something that you're gonna hear very often because my general perception so far is that the girls who made it into the top 30, they deserve it. Like there are like a few girls that I look back and I'm like, oh, I wish she made it. Like I like this girl, but so far the people who made it, they deserve their spot. Of course, there's always room for improvement, even for the top picks, for the fan favorites. But yes, I like her.
Really pretty doll face. I think this is someone that they could hone more because I remember with her national pageant, she was really a force to be reckoned with. Of course, it's a little different with the nationals, but
Yeah,
in her national, I mean, in the local pageant that she joined, she was a clear winner. I remember she did a Catriona thing. She wore a gown that was very similar to Kat, so we kind of knew where she would harness her power.
yeah.
Moving on, yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Crisaline May Valencia from Davao Occidental. I like her bone structure. Maybe we could work more on her presence. Also, Michelle Angela Okol of Siargao. I remember her. She had like this really bubbly video. I think her comm skills is pretty okay.
Yeah.
So there was no doubt that she was able to make it. Megan Digal of Bukidnon. A lot of people are saying that she is the niece of the current president. Of course, that's not going to play into the competition anyway, but I remember her body. She's pretty toned. I remember her comm skills, but I did call her out on styling. What can you say about her styling? I felt that it wasn't professional looking enough
Yeah.
for the interview challenge. How do you feel?
I feel the same way. Honestly, I mean, the way I see it at this point, and everyone keep in mind that I am no expert, I'm no analyst, I'm just a fan, okay? Is that when you're going to go for like a national pageant, or when you're going to go to like one of the most prestigious pageants in the entire country, but also that is looked at internationally, it's not the moment to take like major risks. You can innovate a little bit with your styling, you can try a few things here and there, but it's not the moment to go for something completely outside of the box. And yes, I agree with you that sometimes the styling doesn't come across as being like the most appropriate. I appreciate the intention, but I think there's some need to like rethink some of the strategies right there.
Okay, so ladies, if you're watching or if you have like your followers who are watching, always be on the professional side. There is room to look sexy. There are events to show some skin, your hubadera self. So, but yeah, for like professional things like interviews, yeah, do try to cover up, look the part as well. All right. We have someone who is really into. I have a comment that I'm watching. I'm gonna look out for that comment later on because this is a comment that just really resonates, all in capital letters. So you have an idea how passionate this person is. So we will be seeing each other at your show, but I'm just gonna try to finish up the ladies from top 30 very quickly. So we have Beatrice Luigi Gomez. She is one of my favorites in the competition from Cebu City. She's always head to head with Steffi in Cebu, one of the major cities in the country. And yeah, she's been around for quite some time. She is out as a lesbian. I feel like the conversation is really relevant. She has the proportion, she has the height, she has the intensity, she has the swagger. I have so many things to say about this woman. How do you feel about her? Could she spoil everything from the heavy favorites?
Yes, she's one of the girls that, if given the chance, she might really pull a stunt, and she might get the crown. She is honestly so beautiful, and like you said, I love the fact that she is out as a lesbian and that she's just like so natural about it. Like, and it just makes her like a lot more interesting. But when you look at her from like a technical perspective, like you were saying, like the height, the measures, the how she delivers, and the experience that she has as well, I feel like she's a strong contender. Yes.
All right. This one I will be reserving more for your content later on. I have Kisses de la Vigne, of course, of Masbate.
Mhm.
I did a lengthy post on her yesterday because I feel like I've never really gotten the chance to talk about her because at Titas of Pageantry we did say we'll start moving at top 30. We will start aggressively posting photos of these ladies at top 30. And one of the there are so many things to talk about Kisses, from being a celebrity, having that fan base, utilizing the fan base, not utilizing the fan base, not moving on social media, having other people move on social media. Like so many facets
Yeah.
are um like cool to talk about when we talk about Kisses. But what do you think Kisses should do in this competition now that they have to strip off whatever celebrity fan base or like celebrity inklings they have? What does she need to do here?
She
What's
should.
her purpose here?
Yes, I feel like Kisses should focus on her technique at this point, because something that has been proven over and over again is how good she is with her communication skills, how witty she is with the Q&A. She can deliver like really strong answers. But I feel like something that people overlook her a lot is the technique. Like they're like, she's too young, she not enough experience, she is going against like very strong candidates. And yeah, deep inside, how I feel is that she has a lot of potential and she might surprise people. We don't know. I said this on my channel as earlier as like before yesterday, that we have never seen her like on a live environment like doing it. We saw her runway challenge, of course, but that was all prepared and edited, and it's a professional video. But we don't know what she can do on stage. I get people's upset sometimes, and I get everyone's perspective, but give the girl a chance to at least show us what she can do before you jump to conclusions, because she's been preparing for years. And if this was her dream and she has been working on it, you never know what she might pull out of the bag.
Did you get to interview her?
No.
No, you did. Okay. So, just for the benefit of a lot of people who are watching, we are yeah, more than halfway for the 30 girls. But I think not a lot of people know that I was not allowed to conduct the interviews with the Miss Universe Philippines girls. Now, I know there are some fans who would want me to interview their representatives, and I would politely say, I'm so sorry, it's not me. But I think it's common knowledge for everyone that I am on the more vocal side. I have been vocal about the lack of support for Rabia, the lack of like a congratulatory message. So I'm pretty sure that was taken negatively by the organization. And I would definitely understand why the organization would favor bloggers who are more friendly. But at the same time, I also feel like it's missed opportunity because I honestly feel like I have the skills to bring out personality in people without going into something that's too political or maybe too sensitive. So it would have been nice to bring Kisses down to our level. She was interviewed by a number of bloggers, but I feel like at least on my content and maybe on your platform, it's not about testing them on how good they answer questions that are like super difficult, but just to really introduce them. So I don't know. I don't know how this will work, but I hope that the fan base isn't just contained within the celebrity fan base, that it's
Yeah.
more inclusive to us pageant fans. So one of the heavy favorites, like who rose to the top, is Victoria Velasquez. Vincent, how do we feel about her? I love her. So much class.
Victoria, Victoria, Victoria. Where to begin? I love
I know.
Victoria. Even before the pageant started, I was already fangirling over Victoria because a lot of her fan accounts were following me, and I was following them back, and I was looking at the things, at the photos, and I was like, wow. And to be honest, what I'm gonna say about Victoria, I'll keep it brief, but she is extremely smart, and you know this firsthand because you interview her. She can deliver. I'm sure that she can deliver when it comes to the technique, all of what the competition is gonna be about. But Victoria is a good person. Victoria cares about this,
Yes.
and
Thoughtful, no?
yes, and she
Very
gets a
thoughtful.
lot of backlash and people giving her a hard time sometimes. But believe me when I tell you that this girl cares about what she's doing. She cares about representing fairly um, the the city, the province of Cavite. Is it the province or a city? I'm confused now.
It's province.
Okay, the province of Cavite. She cares about representation, and yeah, she is honestly within my top five. Yes.
Right. Well, we'll talk more about her later on.
Hmm.
Moving on, we have Miss Oriental, Cherla Grace Falconer. No surprise there because she is also a seasoned pageant girl. We have Zambales, Joanna Rabin. No surprise, pageant girl as well. Really long, really tall looking. Of course, let's talk a little bit about Katrina Jane Dimaranan of Taguig. For me, she is still the one to beat. I mean, she's intimidating. She is the noun and the verb.
Yes, Katrina is my top one pick. This is there's no questioning for me. I know that the competition can go like either way because of what happens during the competition. But in my opinion, Katrina has the experience,
Yes.
national and international experience. She has the communication skills. Katrina has the support system to pull this out, and also she has the personality. Katrina is extremely warm, extremely funny. I remember when I was filming my interview with her, Tita, I was shaking under the table. I was so intimidated at first, honestly. And from the moment that she joined the live stream, it was like laughs, laughter and jokes, and and it went well. She just made me feel at ease. And even after the interview, she's been very graceful to me, and to a lot of her fans as well. I see her like comment on people's posts, and and really acknowledge people. And to me, that is like a winner. That is someone who is deserving of a crown, because it's not just about the looks and about you're able to talk. A lot of girls can do this, but when it comes to connecting with the people and showing them that you have a heart, that you care, and that you have what it takes, not everyone can do this in the competition. So
All right. And then, of course, we have Cristel Abello. I want to talk to her more in your channel later on, but I'm really happy that she gave it another go. Um, Mirjan Hipolito from Angeles City, she is also creating a buzz on her own. She's tall, good communication
yeah,
skills as well. Maybe if I have the chance to like give her an input, because I noticed this. This is something really stark about her. It's not gonna change her standing in the competition. This is just my personal thing. Girl, we have to do something about your nails. It's so sparkly, it's so long. We have to tone it down a bit. Do you feel the same way? It's just me nitpicking, but I've
yes,
seen it in a number of challenges.
yes,
Girl,
I agree
it's
with
too
you. I mean,
embellished.
people might like it, but it might also be a distraction,
It is.
when
I'm distracted. I'm sorry. That's the tea. I'm a little distracted, but yeah,
tea is boiling today with you.
I'm so sorry. My cat Nikki finished all my milk tea, so
Oh, cutie.
fine. All right. And then I'm super happy about Yvonne Ortega. She is from Davao City. What I'm happy about is that I posted her photo yesterday, and she was someone who got her styling pretty early on, because it's pretty understandable. If you're still wonky with your styling, you don't know which style fits you. I think that the team hit a jackpot. I don't know what they did to her face. I mean, she looks like, I'm not so sure if you're familiar. We had someone, the one who got away. Her name is Charmaine Ilima. Maybe you could check her out a little bit. She
Yeah,
competed a few years ago twice. She's one of the favorites, Morena in Binibining Pilipinas. So I feel like she does have a little bit of that Charmaine Ilima thing going on. So, and the Pia bone structure going on. So I'm excited to learn more about her. Makati's Isabel de los Santos. Figured in a number of challenges. She can hold her own when it comes to comm skills, of course. I'm pretty happy about Miss Marinduque's Simone Nadine Bornilla. I mentioned this before. I covered a number of events for her dads. She was the one who was raised by two gay men. One is a doctor, and then the other is a professional. I'm friends with them as well. So I know the dynamics. They're very supportive of Nadine.
yes.
And the last lady who made it to top 30, we will get to talk more about her in your video. I'm
Mhm.
talking about Steffi Rose Aberasturi of Cebu. How do we feel about her? We have Katrina Dimaranan, a sure pick. We have Victoria Vincent, who's like charging in the competition slowly but steadily. And then we have the likes of Steffi, who would walk in an unfinished yet epic bridge. How do
Yes.
we feel about
Steffi is doing so well during this competition. And I remember, like very, very early on, as I was learning about the candidates, because obviously now we are aware that Steffi has like this huge like pageantry, past, and like she's well known and respected. But very early on when I was learning about them, uh I think like she didn't make one of my topics, and like everyone was messaging me like, why are you overlooking stuff? And then the more that I looked into her, honestly, I feel like she's one of the strongest one in the competition, and definitely one of the candidates that will like fight like a good fight for the crown. So I know that a lot of people sometimes is between, when it comes to their top one, it's a lot of time between. The most I've seen is like Steffi, Katrina, and Maureen. Like a lot of people like go between those three, but to me, honestly, it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be between Steffi and Katrina at this point. As of right now, we never know. In like 2 days
Right,
might be
right.
different, but yes, she's
Tomorrow
definitely very strong
because
candidate.
yeah, I feel the same way too because for the longest time it was for me also maybe between Steffi and Katrina, but then you have like the interview challenge and they figure nowhere in my list. So I myself I'm pretty ready for whatever is unexpected. For me, last edition of Miss Universe Philippines was just a little messy, so hopefully they clean that up. I'm not going to expound this. Maybe we can talk about this later. We will wrap this one up because, guys, Luis has another live show prepared for us. I will be the guest this time. So we're just going to move to his channel. But, Luis, before I wrap this up very quickly, how do we feel about the selection process? Do you think it was fair? We had some ladies who were let go, like Capiz with her beautiful bone structure. But overall, do we think it's pretty fair? Especially that they messed up the explanation on voting and judges' decision.
Okay, you mean like for the interview challenge or for the entire?
Like the top 30 now, do you think that it was, a pretty fair choice?
Um, to be honest, what I feel is that there needs to be a little bit more like transparency when it comes to how these things are being select, like how the candidates are being selected and how they're preparing the entire thing. For the reason that, um, and this is something that I felt even earlier, with just like the fan voting, is that a lot of the girls have, so much potential, but just because they don't have the following, they don't have a chance technically, right? So if maybe they knew prior that that there's gonna be fan voting and that this is gonna be major and you have to have support, they can work in advance in like developing like their social media, or they can, think outside of the box and really put chances on their end that something is going to be a little bit more fair. Now, when it comes to top 30, like you said, I know that in the beginning everyone was freaking out saying like, oh, fan voting, it's not fair, this and that. Then they kind of put out like a kind of a statement saying that there's going to be judging involved as well, but we don't know to what extent like it really impacts like which percentage is done by fan voting, which percentage is done by, so we don't know. um I feel like this is the first time they're doing it this way, so it's a learning experience. I'm not like overly upset about it, but for future editions this needs to be a little more transparent for the fans, but most importantly for the candidates who are the ones investing money, time, and putting all the effort.
I am definitely with you on that. I think one of these days I have to make like a separate episode on explaining why these things are important, but more on that later on. But yeah, before we end this, there are talks that the pageant will be held in one of our resort town here in the Philippines, Panglao, Bohol. I cannot really ask you how you feel about it because it's a beautiful place anyway. I mean, I'm not going to be averse to the idea of moving because last year they moved it up to another resort town in the Philippines called Baguio. It's really cold and chilly and things like that. But now there are talks that they're moving this closer to the beach. So you know, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
Luis, last question. Please spell your skin secret and your lip secret. A lot of people are like asking, what do you use? Why are you so glowing and exfoliated and hydrated? Come
Mhm.
on.
Okay, the skin secret definitely is a lot of prayer. First of all, But everyone, you have to stay hydrated. And I have my facial routine. I every time I take a shower, I have my moisturizer, I have my sunscreen, I exfoliate as well in the shower. So it's just taking care of it. Sometimes people ask me what is the routine. There's no routine per se. You just have to go with the flow, and whenever you can, just take care of yourself. You only have one skin. And for the lips, right now I'm using this one. Um, Vaseline, this is Rosy Lips, it's called. So normally this is not what I use. I use the cocoa butter one, which is transparent, but I just finished my entire. Yeah, it's done. So I have to go and buy a new one, but this
Why
one is,
not go rosy, right?
yeah, I mean, more pink, so it makes my lips look more alive.
All right. So, Luis, I am going to say goodbye for you for now. I'm going to put on more makeup, maybe, or maybe less makeup. We'll see. I'm going to change my top. We'll see. And I will see you in a few minutes. Guys, maraming salamat. I know some of you have sent in questions. I am so sorry I wasn't able to really focus on all of these questions, but I did answer some questions for you. Thank you so much, Luis, for gracing my channel and for having this time to chat with us about your thoughts on Miss Universe Philippines. We'll talk some more.
Yes, of course. It's been
Maraming
a pleasure.
salamat.
Love you
Thank
all.
you, thank you. Thank you, guys. See you in his channel. Few minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye.